My boyka. What up? Bienvenido, man. Yo, welcome. What's good? Ahlan wa sahlan. Shalom. Checking out my audio. Wow, what a delay. Hey, wepa kenepa. Yeah, man, let's get started. Let's get started, y'all. Here we go. That's what we got for y'all. Bam! Shots fired. Well, let's get started here. Let's get started, y'all. There you go. Here. Yes. We're gonna go on, man. Salute, Joker Fish. What's going on? Hansu. What's going on? I'm speaking about the state of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I think it's orchestrated. You think it's just creating again, these narratives and creating this, this clout, so that people could just get on and start talking about it and so. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that nonsense, to be honest with you. I think it's nonsense for the simple reason that, people speak about things when they don't have the experience. They never experimented with it, don't have the experience, and they came later on, man. And we're going to speak about that just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We'll speak about it just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And so, get off of this here for a minute. This overlay. Yeah, so it's going to be a couple of shots. Keeping it gangster. Oh, man. Yeah, peace. Yeah, I took my walk. Man, my shit is looking sideways. What's going on? I got the natural side. But anyway, yeah, I took a nice walk. You can get paid for walking. I'll try to check that out. But a lot of these apps are kind of like, I don't know, kind of scams and stuff like that. I don't like it. But anyway, here we are again. I guess this is a narrative that's going on. I'm going to show you a little something that's going to happen. I'm going to make some announcements. So I'm going to speak a lot about this relationship, especially now, at this time that we are right now. I'm surprised that people are still even speaking about that. You know what I'm saying? Damn, Puerto Rico's been coming here since 1910. And still, it's like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? How can you diminish anybody? Jamaicans or Trinidadians, Jamaican, people from Barbados, even people coming from the South, man, up to New York. How can you diminish their contribution to the culture that we know as of today? You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is a culture. It's a subculture. It's not really a culture, like you said. It's a condition. Remember when I broke down the word culture? Cultivating nature, which is a condition. And those conditions that, check it out. Let's examine those conditions. Examine the inner cities. The inner cities, you know what I'm saying? The influx of many different people coming to these inner cities and interacting with each other and creating a condition that musically expressed itself. And that's where you get the hip hop from. You know what I'm saying? Sure, there's elements that you could see since the 1930s and 40s with the Hendersons and all that. You can see that because, you can even see that in Brazil in the 1910s and 1920s. You can see that on the island of Puerto Rico, the bomba dancing. You can go back then and say, oh, yeah, that's hip. That's the elements of hip hop. I can show you a lot of that stuff. But it's not, you know what I'm saying? We as a people are going to express ourselves. All of that those expressions come from Africa. It comes from Africa. You know, that's the commonality we have amongst all these subcultures that you look at, you know, that developed in a lot of these countries. A mixture of African culture, native culture, you know, from the, you know, Mesoamerican culture, and also some European influence also, man. Some European influence. All of that combined. You know what I'm saying? You got to take that into consideration. You can't just, you know, throw out the baby with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? Puerto Rican as Americans. Puerto Ricans are American. Puerto Ricans are Americans. Well, yeah, classifies Americans. Also, Mexicans are Central America. Brazilians are South Americans. You know what I'm saying? America, people always think that America is just that North America. That's that little section. No, man, you're talking about even Canada. Canada. You know, you're talking about Canada. Yeah, I'm gonna put out the link there, Jokerfish. You're talking about Canada. You're talking about Canada, the United States. You're talking about Central America. You get it? South America, Brazil, Peru. All of that is the Americas. All of that. And it comes from the Mesoamerican. All of that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you want to get technical about it, you know, let me put the link on here. But yeah, as I put the link, I'm also want to, here's the link. Yeah. Mexico is North America. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, again, separatism. And I'm beginning to see that this whole separating themselves, like that has become a reality of the moon energy that we have. It has become a reality. You know what I'm saying? You have to separate themselves in order to know. But that's where I come to a standing to reason that there is a right racism and then there is a bad racism. Jokerfish, here you are. What's going on, my brother?
Yes,
Peace.
sir, Silos.
You outside enjoying yourself, brother?
Yeah, man. I was supposed to have, one of them phone call doctor's appointments I have nowadays.
Okay.
But the doctor canceled on me. So, yeah, me and the dog were just relaxing in the afternoon.
Nice. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I just came from a long walk.
Day.
It's a beautiful day.
Oh, yeah, man. See,
enjoy it.
Me and my partner, we like to walk all around the neighborhood.
Beautiful. I was just saying that you can get paid for walking. You just got to find the right app. I like Fitbit because I used to work for that company. On Gaslight, Fitbit. But you got to get the watch, the Fitbit watch, either your Apple Watch or your Android watch, and put Fitbit. I know that they're legitimate, but then you have a lot of other ones that are all these ads and all this crap. But yeah, you can get paid for walking. You can get paid for drinking water. The more healthy things you do, you can get paid for it because that's a program that they're trying to.
Man, if somebody paid me for drinking water, I'd be a millionaire.
Well, brother, there are apps. I drank 200 millimeters. Oh man, yeah, I wish they would do that.
If they paid me for drinking beers, man, I'd be drunk.
You will have to look into those beer companies and then get your car wrapped in a beer commercial, advertisement, and drive that.
They can sponsor me on stage.
Yeah,
Silos, they can sponsor me on stage. Hey. I'll get a Coors Light bass guitar, exactly. No problem.
We used to get sponsored by Sammy Hagar.
Tequila.
The tequila first, the Cabo, the Wabo tequila first, and then the rum, the beach rum.
Oh, I didn't know he did rum.
Yeah, he did beach rum later on. Yeah, he sent us each musician got two big bottles of beach rum.
Did you play at his resort? Doesn't he have like property?
Cabo San Lucas. Yeah,
Okay,
he has a cantina out there. Yeah.
So you guys played there, right?
Yeah. That's where we first met him. Right over there. He paid for the tickets.
I gotta tell you, man, from what I know about Sammy Hagar, I don't know him personally, but just from he is a smart businessman.
Yes.
And he takes care of his people.
Yes. Over there in Mexico, in Cabo San Lucas, there was a hurricane that hit. There was a storm. Man, this man got a truck full of food, a truck full of supplies and everything, and just distributing himself to the neighborhood, to the city, the Cabo San Lucas, which is a beautiful city. Oh my God, the beaches are beautiful. White sand. I don't like the blue waters because it's a little more cooler. But it's beautiful.
Well, the Pacific's like colder than the Atlantic. But is that on Baja, his resort?
Well, they call it Baja California. They call it Baja California. Yeah. A lot of people from San Diego goes there. They
we used to go to, as a kid. We used to go to this place called Rosarita Beach. And the first time I ever seen like dark sand was on Baja California. Like we didn't have the white sand; it was like black.
Yeah. Puerto Rico, they got a lot of that black sand. That's really good. You put that on your skin. Oh man, that's stuff.
And that's the first time I ever seen that.
Therapeutic, very therapeutic. Yeah. So this conversation, we're talking about the state of hip hop. Now, like I said, I don't know that this is orchestrated. I don't know who's starting this narrative. This stupidity, because I think that to really understand what is hip hop, again, a subculture, you got to look at the conditions that birthed it. Now, of course, like I said, there were groups like the Hendersons back in the 1950s. There was this guy showed me a video of the 1930s. These guys dancing. It looked like break dancing.
Oh yeah, man.
So yes, but then I could show you clips from the 1920s in Puerto Rico where they're dancing bomba, and you would think, oh, rumba. In Cuba, it looks like they break dancing. So I think it's just an African expression that always followed, genetically follow, Africans wherever they were, and then they mixed in the European influence, and they mixed in the Mesoamerican influences in there too. Also, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like the break dancing developed in Brazil, you call it capoeira. You know what I'm saying? That type of dancing. You know what I'm saying? Back and forth.
We were talking about this before, the Afro-Cuban rhythm.
Exactly.
That spread, from Jamaica and I've seen African, I don't remember what country it was, but it was in like Central Africa, and they loved reggae music, and they had their own version, their own. Yeah. It was, you could hear the influence, but they did it their way.
Right.
Because it's just that Afro-Cuban rhythm. And whether it's hip hop, whether it's dance music, probably even rock and roll.
Yeah, rock and roll.
African,
yeah. There was the tumbao. You know what I'm saying? It be broken up. Yeah.
Even if you listen to like, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. What I was gonna say that what we're talking about this state of hip hop today, which came out in the 70s, it started expressing itself. So you got to look at the neighborhood and the conditions that was in. You had to be there. You had to live it. You know what I'm saying? You had to go to those jams in the schoolyard, in the park, and
what I heard is like they used to like tap into the street lights, set up their DJ equipment, and throw a party.
A block party and stuff like that. But that's how it started. You know what I'm saying? And most of your DJs, yes, with that I know of in my area around Fish Avenue, Boston Road, in that area, were Jamaicans. You know what I'm saying? They used to put on the big speakers and have these battles. There were Jamaicans, even in the South Bronx. In the South Bronx, a lot of Puerto Rican DJs, man, a lot.
We were talking about that too the other day on Solo Show, how big of an influence Jamaicans have in hip hop.
The Jamaicans have a huge influence in hip hop. They were Jamaican Americans, you know, children that their parents came from Jamaica, and
or
they
Jamaica
just, you know,
or Barbados or
Barbados, Trinidad,
yeah, Trinidad,
and
Tobago.
Panamanians. Pumpkin was Panamanian.
Was he?
Pumpkin
Central
was
America.
Panamanian. Central America, Panamanian.
Wow.
You know, his family for Panamanian and Ecuadorian, both Panamanian, Ecuadorian.
Yeah, I see. You know, like you were talking about the continents. You know, you have North America, which is Canada, America, and Mexico, or you know, United States and Mexico.
Yeah.
Then Central America, which is like Panama, Costa Rica,
South
and there might be
America.
another-
Yeah,
and then
South
no, and
America.
then that's Central America with the Panama Canal, all that.
Yeah.
And then you
All
go to
that's
the
America.
South America, which has like Brazil, Argentina, and you know what's funny is if you know you look at South America. My friends were what was it, Argentinian, and they spoke
They spoke what?
Spanish.
You're breaking up. You broke up on me. You're freezing.
I'll come back in.
Yeah, you broke up on me. But yeah, you know, the Panamanians also, a lot of Jamaican influence, because a lot of Jamaicans went to Panama to work in the canal. You know what I'm saying? They stood there and their families, and there was a big thing. You're back again. Here you go. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I was telling everybody when you just briefly left that Panama, there was a lot of Jamaicans working in Panama. A lot of Jamaicans working in Panama. That's where you get the rapper El General, the general El General was a Jamaican Panamanian brother that started doing the first Latin hip hop, you know, Spanish hip hop.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? And then and then that's where you get the reggaeton coming out of.
Around what year was that?
General was in the 80s. I say General was probably 80, 84, 85.
So yeah, so he's like way early.
Yeah, way advanced. And then he started going influence into Puerto Rico. I tell you what, it has to do a lot with hip hop. That the influence of a lot of these cultures all amalgamated, centralized himself in what we call the hood or the ghetto. Areas like Cedric Avenue, areas like you know, especially in the Bronx, you know, like in Southern Boulevard, areas even in the North Bronx, in Boston Road. Boston Road is a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of stuff. But they didn't speak, you know, they were children of Jamaicans that came from the island, but they were either born and raised in the Bronx. And so everyone went to the same school. You get it?
Yep.
When I went to even junior high school, elementary school, junior high school, I went to a private school, junior high school, but then in high school, who do you think I was going to school with? Who?
The neighborhood guys, the Jamaicans, the
Puerto Rican, and again, a lot of African Americans that their parents came from the South, from Virginia, from North Carolina. This is where they came from. But they in the Bronx, it was amalgamated of everybody. So when you went to a jam session and you had somebody out there playing music, everybody partying in the schoolyard or in the courtyard of the projects, who you think is living in the projects? Who do you think is around? Who do you think is enjoying the music? Who do you think is going into the crates? Who do you think is giving telling the DJs? And the DJ could have been African American or Jamaican American or Southern American up there. Right? Nobody. That's right, Deanna. Nobody thinks about Jamaicans. But these are, again, children of the Jamaicans, and these are they born and raised in the Bronx. Just like I was born and raised in the Bronx, but my parents came from Puerto Rico. So that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So all the breakdancing, the graffiti, because remember, there's 5 elements to hip hop, they say, right?
Yep.
Right? The spades, that's right, bro. Nobody talk about the black spades, or nobody talk about the Ghetto Brothers. Or how about the javelins? You know anything about the javelins, about Feather Belay?
Like the old 60s.
That's old school. Yeah, those are
70s.
Those are gangs from the 70s. You know, the Black Spades and the Ghetto Brothers. You know, the Ghetto Brothers, a lot of them were musicians, and they made an album. You know what I'm saying? And so no one, when talk about the state of hip hop, you know, of course, if you're gonna make a statement like, "Oh, Puerto Ricans originated," that's wrong. No, it's New Yorkers, Jamaicans, African Americans, Southern Americans, Barbados. An amalgamation of a lot of us getting together and partying.
Different cultures, Silos. It's about the different cultures that
and
came
we were
in.
partying. The conditions that we were raised up in was the inner city, cement, what they called cement jungle.
Your right? concrete jungle.
Okay. So then you had the train station. We moved around. You young, you know when you young, you want to go and meet girls. You know your damn hormones are popping all over the place, and I want the girls. So you go to these parties, meet the girls. They start hanging out. You start dressing. You know what I'm saying? That what they call today dripping. Back then we had our particular drip too.
Yeah, we used to call it fly.
Right. that fly shit. That British Knights, the quarter-field jacket. You know, the quarter-field jacket. Anybody? That's hip hop. In the beginning, bro, and the short collar knits, bro, that's hip hop, which was a dance. You know, it wasn't called hip hop back then. Hip hop was the dance where you, again, the hop, the hip, hop. That's a dance.
I was thinking about that nowadays, or today, because nowadays I don't see those dances where everybody in the club knew the moves.
Exactly.
I don't see that no more.
Yeah,
now they got to go to a club.
Now they got a different dance now, you know what I'm saying, to the drill music. I like that stuff and whatever they express themselves. But this is what I'm talking about. Even when you talk about drill music, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you look at what's that channel of Flowtastic. Look at Flowtastic. Yeah, you see African American drill artists, but you also see Spanish artists up in there too. You know what I'm saying? Puerto Rican artists and the drill, you know, you're talking about, that's right, stop the madness. You're talking about a condition where we were all raised in and we express ourselves. We went to these parties, you know, with the music, and DJs were of all Jamaicans, Puerto Rican DJ, the DJs of the Fever. The Fever was one of the biggest hip hop spot back in the Bronx. That DJ was Puerto Rican, right? And most of the clubs had a lot of DJ that were Spanish DJs, but that doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Because it's part of the culture.
I was going to say the culture. I mean, because if you take the Bronx, right, you had your white section, which was like the Fordham section, you know. Then you had like, you know, the Puerto Rican and, you know, the African American, which, you know, the black. Mix.
Yeah, that came from the South. People, parents came from
then
Virginia,
you had, and it's not just like when you say Hispanic, some people say, oh, like, you know, Puerto Rican or Mexican. No, it's different cultures, you know, and that was the beauty of hip hop, is because all the different Hispanic cultures and black cultures came together, whether it was your like you know, black from South America, not South America, from, you know, the southern United States coming up, or it was the Jamaican immigrants coming in, or the Haitian, you know, like Bermuda and shit, even Haiti, Dominican, them dudes brought a culture with them.
Oh, yeah. Later on, it was influence, the merengue influence into the Spanish stuff. Yeah.
And that's another thing. It's like, you know, one thing I want to say about modern hip hop is a lot of these, and this has been going on for a while, is they don't respect their elders. They don't draw from the past and say, hey, this guy made these mistakes or whatever. You know, you know how many like rappers, like just young, I'm talking 23 years old, get gunned down and killed for no freaking reason because they have a beef on Twitter. You know, didn't we learn from Biggie and Tupac?
Yeah, all that shit going on right now. Yeah. Now, this is being streamed on Facebook and also on LinkedIn. So I might get a strike for this, but I wanted just to play you just a little bit of this. Because these are the albums when they call digging into the crates, you know what I'm saying? The real digging, you know, when you had those milk crates, those plastic milk crates, and DJs used to carry those around and all those LPs and stuff. I want to share my screen. You know, you had groups that they used to sample, like this group right here. Who knows about this? Check it out. I just played that section right there. Okay? We used to listen to this. We used to listen to that type of groove over and over again, over and over. And this is again an Hispanic band. So the DJs back then, even Jamaican DJs, they were going out and looking into different culture and different music, even from France and bro, I can't find it. It was this nice this German record that everybody
jazz records. They had jazz records. It was
jazz, right. That came really later on. But Kool Herc was one of the first ones to start using the James Brown stuff. You know what I'm saying? Kool Herc.
James Brown will get you.
Kool Herc is Jamaican. Yeah, he started using. He got away from the traditional, reggae stuff and got into the James Brown beats and stuff like that, and Jimmy Castor Bunch and stuff like that, and even loops of Earth, Wind and Fire and Kool and the Gang, stuff like that. You know, they started looping.
You know what's a big loop? The doom doom clap, doom doom clap. Like
that's from Queen. Oh yeah, that's a big loop in hip hop. So like I said, it was that diversity because, like I said, in 74, 75, 76, 77, I started high school in 75. During that time, hanging out in the project, East Central Project, Mount Haven Project, and like you said, the DJs would come out, plug into the light poles and would throw a jam until the cops said no more. Until they started making a law that you needed a license in order to do
like
that.
a permit.
Like a permit, you know what I'm saying? But before then, it was just like, yo, boom, boom. Although you go to the basement, you go to the basement, somebody was spinning stuff. You know what I'm saying? So again, yeah, I agree with a lot of people. Maybe Fat Joe just didn't say the right way. But Fat Joe came later on. That's what I'm saying. A lot of these cats, like from Lord Jamal, Brian Newman, they came later on, bro. They came in the 80s. I'm talking about hip hop starting in the 70s. How important is that? Very important. Very important.
That's the stonework.
Exactly.
Laid the groundwork.
Because that's the vein. That's where it sprouted out. And the Bronx was there. And then in 1981, around 1981, Brooklyn got it. Because I remember that the record that I recorded in 79, Funky 4 Plus 1 More, was heard in Brooklyn later on. So it's spread out. Even my sister took it to Puerto Rico and they played it in Puerto Rico. They didn't understand it back then, but it was played there. But you see, again, like I said, it's like somebody said, a mixture, a diversity. It was a diversity. You know what I'm saying? No one could claim it itself. No one ethnic group could claim hip hop. You cannot. Not one. Assalamu alaikum, Zay. Not one of those ethnic groups or race, what you call Black Americans, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, can claim it as their own. No, it was a combination because that's the condition that we grew up in the projects. It was a bunch of us, Cedric projects over there. It was, bro, you had Puerto Rican family here, you had a Jamaican family here, you had people from Barbados over here, you even had Mexican family. You have many different, and these kids used to come out and had to play in the schoolyard. You know what I'm saying? And they got together and they used to like the girls and stuff like that. There you go, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it was a diverse, it was a combination of all of that. No one can claim it. If you try to go back to the 1930s and whatever, that expression you can find that in you can find it in the bomba. You can find it, back then because it was an African expression. You could take it all the way to Africa and the way they performed, they danced. And the feats they used to do, the flips, you know what I'm saying? These were especially the warriors and the flips and stuff, especially in even Sudan, the twirling of the feet and the twirling, all of that goes way, way back. Even if you go into ancient Kemet, you know what I'm saying? You see gymnastics because a lot of that are gymnastics moves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you want to say something?
Silos, did you ever hear it's called capoeira?
Yes.
I think it's Brazilian, and it's a fighting style. And the guys, if that doesn't look like breakdancing,
yeah, that's like up rock and breakdancing. That's exactly.
The guys out of
they diss themselves. Exactly. And this is a capoeira go way back, past in the 1800s. Capoeira go way back. That's what I'm saying. These are expressions, okay? African expressions that spread all throughout. No one can claim it as their own. You cannot, because it's a combination. You can't claim hip hop by yourself. It's a combination. So I don't know where these people are coming from. And like I said, I experience it personally, like I'm 60 years old. Personally, I experienced it, experimented with hip hop and the different beats. Experimented with it, with hip hop beats, experimented it and reasoned it out. And when you're experiencing things, you say like, damn, I'm in it. I'm here. This is what we're doing. This is how we're living in the projects. You know what I'm saying? So to have anybody come later on, when hip hop started changing, Joker, when the companies, marketing companies, took a hold of it and wanted to market their product to the youth by using their music, their style of dressing. What do you call that?
We call that Madison Avenue. When they appropriate, when the powers, they appropriate a culture, because they did it with us punk rockers too. Yeah. They took our culture and they mass marketed it and made a ton of money off it, and we're still sitting here,
to sell
looking like jackasses because of all these people that picked it up.
Right. They wanted to sell their product. That's when when it changed.
It's over.
So then a lot of the record company, because when Funky 4+1 recorded on Enjoy Records, that was an independent by Bobby Robinson.
Yeah, that's the only label you can deal with, man.
The only label that had it in the beginning, and then it went into Profile Records. But that was the one in the beginning was Enjoy Records. There was not even no radio station that would pick it.
Well, Silos. I used to listen to 98.7 Kiss FM.
Kiss FM, right?
To hear the hip hop. So what? You know what? That was like in the early '80s, I think.
That was in the '80s. That was in the '80s.
And I used to watch Uncle Ralph on TV.
Right, the Ralph McDaniel.
Uncle Ralph McDaniel, and he would do
the video music.
He was, and he was real involved in the community because he would be like the director of the videos, and he'd be in a club and they'd be having a record release party and he'd be interviewing people. You
see, that's it around, I would say around 82 and 83, because in 82 I think Tower Records started, I think around 82, 83 when Boogie Down Production came out with their record.
Now with Boogie Down Productions, that's KRS-One and his
right. Tower Records picked that up. Tower Records started selling rap records.
They distributed it for them.
Distributed Tower Records, right? But before then, no, you couldn't find Enjoy Records. They try to get the distribution. They try to get it out there.
You had to either go to a show or go to like a flea market or
actually get it from the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
Bobby Robinson had a record. I think he had a record shop. In Harlem, and you will have to go around to different record shop independently and tell them if they want to have your.
And you know what they would do, because we did this. This is how, this was my career in music. It's like we were always independent, never wanted to deal with a label. So what we would do is we'd self-produce our record, and then it was called consignment. Right. So we'd put them in the store would say, okay, we'll take them, and if we sell them, we'll give you X amount of dollars.
Exactly.
And we would sell them at the live show.
You got to interact with the chat. I am interacting with the chat. Yeah, I see it. I mentioned mixture of diversity. I mentioned a lot of things. But thank you very much for the advice, Big Lou, Big Joe.
Big shout out to the chat. I'm sorry I can't
to the chat.
Read it. Yeah. I'm on a stupid phone.
Saludo, Major Key Boxing, man. Saludo. Yeah, so that's the state of hip hop. Today, again, like I said, a lot of maybe because a lot of the later hip hop artists, like from Brand Nubian and later on, for instance, this Doggy Diamond, I don't even know what kind of hip hop he does. I didn't even know that he rap or involved in that. He's definitely younger. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of gassing up happening there. But a lot of these guys are getting older, and yeah, they want to hold claim to something, but it has a prerequisite, it has a vein, it has an ancestry pattern. You know what I'm saying? That we have to acknowledge from the first,
See, look, when you're writing, okay, and let's say, you was writing from the street when you started, but then you built yourself up, you made money, and now you live in a nice house in a nice neighborhood. You can't talk about the street no more. You got to talk about like grown ass man problems. Like
exactly. Yeah, some people do that, but then I know a lot of guys that they get that celebrity status and stuff, but they still maintain, their hood, go back to the hood and stuff like that. It's just become a little difficult because you have a lot of envy, people that are envy and jealousy, and they got to be very careful also, because remember, once you get to that celebrity status, and a lot of these celebrities have sponsors, are sponsored by certain big companies, and that's in the clause. They have to watch what they do, where they go, what they say, how they spend their money. They have to watch that because they don't want to become an embarrassment to that particular, product. You say, let's say Coca-Cola. I'm working with Coca-Cola, right? So I go out there, right? So I go and I want to drink, I'm sponsored by Coca-Cola, but then I go out there to a club and they see me drinking Pepsi-Cola. They see me mixing in a lot of drink. They see me drunk. They see me in a shootout. They see me in all this, acting differently. Then what happened? My Coca-Cola sponsors are going to drop me because they say you're making us look bad because you're coming out and the paparazzi got a hold of it and yeah, it's okay, Joker. Yeah, and it's not good for business. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they promote certain things and they say, yeah, we're gonna have to put you in this section, you know what I'm saying, on the underground and whatever. But when it comes to, the sponsorship, no, we're gonna cut you. And it happens even with ball players. There's celebrity status is like that, celebs. Sponsors, a lot of sponsorship that comes with it. In other words, I was once sponsored by Congas. I had to go on that stage. I had to make sure I got all my gear as Goombas. Because if they find out, they take pictures and they see me with something else on that stage, they're like, hey, wait a minute, we're giving you an endorsement. 60% off for anything you buy. 60% off is a good. That's that sponsor that, they sponsor 60% off. A lot of celebrities, groups, they get sponsors, so they go to their concerts, they sell a certain products because they're sponsored by that, and they get a percentage out of that. Some of them, they good deal. Yeah. Yeah, DJ Red Alert. Man, DJ Red Alert is another one from the Bronx. He can tell you.
Oh my God. DJ Red Alert is the one that put Queen Latifah on and then put like my area on the map.
Boogie Down Productions and all of them. Yeah, he was a DJ. I think DJ Red Alert was in, I forgot. I think he was in Kiss. Wasn't he in Kiss?
He was on Kiss, and then he moved to, what's that?
WBLS?
7-1.
Oh, yeah. Coach of Vultures. Major Key Boxing. Coach of Vultures. Yeah, you have a lot of big companies that, and that was coined by, I think, Damon Dash, because, a lot of these big companies started to take the culture we call hip hop, and they use it for advertising. What I'm saying? To advertise their product. And a lot of times, a lot of people got bad deals for that. Huh?
They've been doing it way before that because I grew up as like a little punk rock kid, with the mohawks and leather jackets. Right. And then all of a sudden you're seeing Taco Bell commercials with dudes that look like me. And I'm like, that ain't right.
Commercial. Yeah.
Like we get our ass kicked for looking like this. We got to knuckle up for looking like this. No. And now you gotta.
Yeah, when the commercialism takes over to a lot of these cultures, you see a change. But you see a lot of that I blame it on even the artists because a lot of them look for that bag. I say, yo, you're willing to pay me up front. You're willing to loan me because a lot of times they're loans. So over the record labels, those are loans.
No record, like unless you get a signing bonus, all that money has to be paid
the
back.
signing bonus. I got the signing bonus before. That money is yours. but the main
studio
signing
time,
thing,
advertisement,
advertise,
commercials,
all of that,
limousines or cars, everything, food. It's all on your dime.
Yeah.
That's why I stayed away from that shit, man.
Yeah. That's why Major Kickboxing, Biggie was Jamaican, Buster Jamaican, most all them, Heavy D, all of those rappers, because they were, their parents were Jamaicans, but they were raised in the same condition. You have the group, these brothers are the Beatnuts. The Beatnuts, that group, the Spanish brothers and stuff, they were, I think, Dominicans. It came later on, Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. And you had also, again, Fat Joe and Terror Squad and these guys came in later, also Puerto Ricans, you know what I'm saying? And then, you even had a couple of the brothers in the Wu-Tang who were also working with the Wu-Tang Clan, also Spanish mixed, Puerto Rican and stuff like that, but the thing is this, and I'm talking about the conception of hip hop, when it all began, and we all know that it began in the Bronx. The hip hop that we know today, that is known, today, and with groups like artists like Starsky, who else? Curtis Blow. All these guys were from the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? The early, but then you had groups like Funky 4+1 More, the Treacherous 3, Brother Disco. All these groups that came out, a lot of times when you look at, a lot of them, some Jamaicans, African Americans, some mixed with Puerto Ricans, and when you look at the DJs, the DJ Enough, also Ivan Santiago, I think is his name, a big DJ that used to work with Scott LaRock. Man, a lot of these DJs, man, I'm telling you, a lot. Like I said, it was a mixture. It was a mixture. No one could claim hip hop like that.
The neighbor, the
Big
borough
Joe,
could claim.
Yeah, Big
borough,
Joe. Yeah, Big Joe. I am 60 years old, born in 1961. I'm 60 years old, Big Joe. Yeah.
Well, I just, I want to say, like, you talk about like when the Bronx, and then the Bronx started making their records, right? And it started getting around Manhattan. Right. I think the next people that rose up were Queens, the rappers.
Cream rappers, the Juice Crew. Marley Marl was always there. He was from Queens. Queens was there, but they always used to have to go to the Bronx.
Well, see, that's the thing.
Because Queens is a different animal. Thank you very much. Queens is a different animal.
All the boroughs are,
Queens
man.
Is a lot of houses. It's spread out. Unless you go to the beginning of Queens in Brooklyn, Queensboro, stuff like that, where you have projects and stuff. And my cousin used to live in Queens in the project. When you go to those projects, then you see that connection. Yeah. A lot of these groups came out of there. The Juice Crew, Marley Marl, and stuff like that. But they had to go to the Bronx.
I think every borough has its flavor. Every borough has its they're gonna put their stamp on it. Like look at the Bronx. I mean, not the Bronx. Look at Brooklyn. They stamp on hip hop.
Yeah, because the Bronx had guys like Cool Skies, and then you had break dancers and a lot of artists, graffitis. The Bronx is a different. I don't know, for some reason the Bronx was different, because you had different element. Like the graffiti a lot. A lot of Puerto Ricans were involved in the graffiti, and not only Puerto Ricans, a lot of white guys, because they were artists. You know what I'm saying? These art students, they started seeing a new art being formed in the hood, in the schoolyard, like Snake and what is the greatest one? Tag 183. These guys started doing murals with spray paint overnight, bro. And there was like an artwork, the coloring, the way they did everything was just like, a new style of art. It was a new style of art.
Hip hop came and it just it just took over everything. It killed rock and roll. But
they try to match the two. Remember, with Run DMC, because a lot of times, a lot of hip hop records, they use a lot of rock beats.
Well, yeah, like Run DMC was, the Beastie Boys copied their model. They copied what Run DMC did. Now the Beastie Boys were rockers.
Yeah, a little
they were
bit,
rockers.
But I think the Beastie
but
Boys,
they were. I think Rick Rubin produced them both. Actually.
Yeah. And I went to school with Rick Rubin, NYU.
That's
He got
NYU, right?
Yeah. He got
heard,
introduced to a lot of stuff with Russell Simmons. I never met Russell Simmons there at NYU, but Rick Rubin, yes.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Wasn't like Def Jam? Tell me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Def Jam like kind of started in NYU dorms?
Well, the idea, with Rick Rubin, and he used to DJ in his dorm. He had his DJ equipment there, and he used to DJ, and they used to throw little parties in there. I've been through the parties, but I never like stood there and really hung out with them. But I heard Russell Simmons was coming through there, and a lot of artists used to come. A lot of guys coming up. But yeah, Rick Rubin. I was there for some other reasons.
Russell and Rick Rubin are two business geniuses. Because look what they took.
Well, Rick Rubin was in the same program that I was in, the music technology. I wanted to go to acoustical engineering. Rick Rubin was in that same. And at NYU, that was a newly formed program. Tracy 168, that's my boy. Tracy, that white boy. Oh man, Tracy, my boy. Damn, we used to hang out a lot. So back then at NYU, it's called Samuel Hall, Fifth Avenue was the dorm. Rick Rubin used to DJ, in his dorm. They used to throw parties and stuff like that. But I believe that the concept there, because I think Russell Simmons used to hang out in there. You know what I'm saying? So because he was studying musical engineering, music technology, musical engineering.
Oh, so and that was behind the board for everybody.
Right behind Rick Rubin, behind the board. It was studying the board, and that was a newly formed school at NYU. It came under CNAP, the School of Education, Nursing and Arts Profession. That's the school that we were in, the college within New York University, and that was a newly formed school.
Now, was it still was the campus in the Village like the other one?
Yeah, the campus in the Village. I
right
think
by the park, right by Washington Square.
Washington Square Park. Yeah, but I think some of the courses that you also could took, they were building a studio, but also you could go to Electric Lady Studio and take some courses there with your professor. Yeah.
So wait,
they utilize the Village and the studios in the Village because they were building their own studio at NYU.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I visited an engineering school in New York City, and it was just room after room of boards and sound rooms.
Let me tell you.
But you know what, CeeLo? I was like, I want to be on the other side. I don't want to be here. I want to be over there.
Well, I like both sides. Let me tell you something. When I went to New York University, right, in my first year, it was 1979, and then 1980 came in, and I was there studying, right, music technology. But I didn't have too many courses. I got a letter from Full Sail. Now, Full Sail was very small, and Full Sail was coming out of Florida, Fort Lauderdale, and it was a very small. I think it was like a very small building. Now, look at Full Sail now. When you go to Orlando,
and not only that,
over Cimarron. Let me tell you something. And I worked at Full Sail recording, and I also taught about African drumming and stuff like that in some of the seminars at Full Sail.
Yeah, I heard about that, but it got popular. By the time I heard of it, it got bigger.
And
I didn't know.
Now. Yeah, that's full. Now it's Full Sail University. And they have a lot of. You should look into that.
And they have the wrestling, the WWE Performance Center, right next to it.
Yeah, that's the Cimarron. I'm heading up that way. As a matter of fact, I'm heading up that way to do some gigs up there. But the whole thing is this. Getting back to the topic I had, the Tracy 168. Oh my God, man! Damn, I missed that man. It's a white dude, kind of chunky guy. I mean. He used to do some beautiful artwork, and Snake was extraordinary. Snake. These guys, like I said, that was hip hop. And then as far as the dressing was concerned, back then, graffiti started to appear before the DJing and before the rapping. Graffiti, to me, what I experienced was the graffiti started to hit the streets, right?
The trains and everything.
Right. Before the DJs. But the DJs was isolated, but before the DJs even traveled, and before the MCs, the master ceremony, they didn't rap. They just did hip hop. You don't stop. Raise your hands in the air.
Throw your hands in the air. Wave them like you just don't care.
And and stuff like that. But and then later on, a lot of them started to get a little, they started to have ciphers and started to rap. A lot of the Zulu Nation.
That's where
Zulu, 5%ers and Zulu Nation, because 5% was used to kicking knowledge. And what's the mathematical today? And they would kick knowledge. But rhyming goes all the way back. Rhyming goes.
Well, that's where, because my first time hearing like legit rhyming was out of Jamaican music. Yeah. And they would pass.
But they had a different type of rhyme, yeah.
They would just pass, and everybody would do their little and they'd pass the mic, and then and they just kept passing the mic around.
I was a big Supercat fan.
That and that was Jamaican stuff, and then I saw what the New York City was doing. I'm like, that reminds me of Jamaica.
Right. A lot of them took that and they put that whole 5%,
well, that's when the poetry came in.
Right, we put the lessons in it, like BDP put that in there, the 5%, the Zulu stuff, and they put that in there, and a lot of groups. And Rodney C, Keith, they made a little party, but some of them, like Rodney C himself, would throw some knowledge in there. You know what I'm saying? And
well, that's like the first rapper that hit me in the brain was Rakim.
Oh, that's 5%.
Rakim was spitting real deal
5%. Right, but he came later on. That's what I'm saying. Eric B and Rakim, they came. They were the next wave. Yeah, because I like that. That was the next wave when the record labels was looking for those talents because they had a lot of money to be made. Yeah. Oh yeah. And
KRS-One too hit the brain. KRS-One hit me in the brain.
And then later on, then it went into Wu-Tang, because before Wu-Tang, was the KRS-One and was that. That was the next wave when the Wu-Tang came in, Tribe Called Quest, and
that was 93, because I remember first time I heard Wu-Tang in 1993 on the Uncle Ralph show, and I said, it's big. I said,
they were already looking for that big bag. They were already looking for the big distribution, with Loud Records and Iverson and Loud Records and all those big companies that had distribution from BMG or Columbia. You know what I'm saying? They were looking already into those big. And Def Jam was already grown to the part that they had big distribution from BMG, their own distribution, whatever. That's when it started growing. And they started going out there and looking for artists. Later on, they cut the artists. They weren't looking for no more artists. They were looking for producers, because they figure it's easy to us to go after producers who's got a crew. Because remember, Wu-Tang Clan, the producer was right. He was
RZA.
The RZA was the producer, so he had a bunch of artists. Now he could take those artists, sign a few of them to one label, find another artist to another label. But when it came to doing the whole Wu-Tang thing, it was on one, distribution. It was on one label.
It was an umbrella. An umbrella under everybody.
They started creating that model. Yes. They started creating that model. But that's again when they started going into.
Well, there's that word in the industry.
Huh? You broke up. What you say?
Rappers started wanting the Wu-Tang deal. They said, "Want the Wu-Tang deal."
They want the Wu-Tang deal.
Wu-Tang, like each individual member was allowed to sign to any label they wanted to.
Yeah. But I think the stipulation was that they would have to appear at least one.
Oh yeah, RZA gets his money.
He gets his money.
RZA gets his kickback.
Yeah. So that's when they started That's when they started going after producers. You know what I'm saying? Well, you got a crew. We want to sign the whole production team. You know what I'm saying? So they got out from the individual artists and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So
if you think about it
in the beginning,
standpoint.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was people like Bobby Robinson or Sylvia Robinson going out to. You see, Sylvia was with Bobby Robinson's ex-wife, Sylvia Robinson, took the idea and she started the Sugar Hill Gang. With the help of Bobby.
Oh yeah, and out of Englewood, New Jersey.
Right, she started again forming a group together. Okay, forming these guys, putting them together, right, and create a brand, create a product. That's what she did. And then the Sugar Hill Gang, and that's one of the first records that I heard on the radio was the Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah, I think that was the first. That was the first one that was on the
Yeah,
radio, I think. Other than that, it was underground.
Everything was
No.
underground. Underground, man, was oof. You had some great artists underground.
Now, this is what I heard about the Sugar Hill was that she put these dudes together, but they didn't even write their own raps.
That's what I hear, because if you listen to a lot of their raps, and then you go to the older records like Funky 4 Plus 1 More, The Treacherous 3, you hear similarities. Hip hop, a hibbit hibbit hop it hop, you don't stop.
Hop,
all of that
stop.
stuff comes from way back. Yeah.
So one band, I don't know if you remember this group, Jekyll
I was a
and Hyde.
ghostwriter. I was a ghostwriter for Maximum 3+1, a group called Maximum.
Oh, okay. So the dudes would just like, CeeLo, we need you and they would just, learn it.
I was working with Patrick Adams, the guy that did Push in the Bush. He was a great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick
that was that
Adams.
freestyle song.
Yeah. He was. Patrick Adams was an engineer, a great engineer and producer. So he was working with this group called 3+1, stuff like that. So I used to come in and I used to fix their lyrics. Like I used to tell them, let's do this, let's say this, to make it more tricky, because I was pretty good at it, that they actually had me on the record, spitting on the record. I can't find those records to this day, man.
I was gonna say, man, send me that record.
I'm trying to find it. It's Maximum 3+1, and one record.
Now, what year was that record?
That was in 86, 87.
Nice.
But
So
it was,
that's
but you see, by that time, the hip hop was already becoming established. I was more heading towards the house music, what they call house rap, rapping over house beats. You see? And then I was one of the first one to do a merengue house. Yeah, I was doing I was experimenting a lot. So I was taking house, the thumb, boom, boom, and I was doing that, experimenting. And what was it? Mama la pilla. So I was using a lot of like Cuban chants and stuff like that, and I was adding a house stuff to it, and
like
house.
Now, did you have a sequencer or something to use to do the house music?
Yes, I had an Alesis. Forgot the number.
I got a MC80 Cassie. I think it's Cassie MC80.
Yeah, we were doing the Alesis on the house, and then when you went to the studio, they had like the Linn drum. They had the sequencing, the big wheel, the big stuff. You know what I'm saying? The big stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it's ridiculous again for people to speak about something that where other people had experienced that. You know what I'm saying? Experience it. Like I said, we grew up. Monument Project. I went to Cedric Avenue. I was on 170th and Shakespeare, all there, and then up to Boston Road. I went to the jam, the Eastchester projects. All those jams out there, the Edenwald projects. All those jams, bro, with my bicycle hitting out there. But sometimes I bring my car bell. The DJ spinning. I'm and the DJ was in there. Bro, it was crazy. And then when Bambaataa was one of the first ones to take the gym at high schools and do jams on there.
Well, he was big. I heard Bambaataa was like.
Bambaataa was DJing a lot. He didn't have a crew.
Name.
Yeah, he didn't have a crew rapping behind him. Sometimes
because he did Zulu Nation, right? He was Zulu Nation
before he was Zulu Nation. Yeah, Bambaataa was just doing his thing. Then he went.
He did a song with Johnny Rotten, the singer of the Sex Pistols. Fucking awesome.
No, later on, he became because he was a DJ. At one time, the record labels was going to producers and DJ. Because the DJ was the one who could do the mixing for you, you know what I'm saying? Because he had that ear. Right, the DJ had the ear. He knows what the people want in the club, right? More drums. He knows how to equalize shit. So that's who record label, when it comes to mixing, use a lot of DJs for the mixing.
Yeah. Knows how to use
these
the
guys
sliders.
were getting money from mixing records at the same time going to the club and doing like Frankie Cutlets, you know what I'm saying? Frankie Bones. Frankie Bones was another one.
Well, what's big in the studio, man, and I'm sure with the DJs, you got to use your sliders to control the volume, because this record's going to be louder than this record, so you got to know where to put your sliders at.
And you got to know what the people want. I mean, maybe it needs a little more. The bass needs to be up ahead and boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Although
maybe a little more snare drum.
Yeah, exactly. So your DJ was the one, and then he knew how. Oh shit, I like this percussion. I know where to put the percussion at. Your DJ was doing a lot of great mixers, guys that mixing and mastering was a lot of time with DJs, especially if DJs studying mastering.
You know what bugs me out about like when what they call a modern DJ? You know, one of my favorite things the DJ did was scratching.
Well, yeah, there was a whole scratching thing coming down. No, and that scratching again, that's owned to Grandmaster Flash, was one who was scratching a lot. Grandmaster Flash, yeah, but then also you had guys like Kid Capri, Scott LaRock. Scott LaRock was excellent scratcher. Scott LaRock.
Do you remember the shows that DJs would put on, spinning on their back?
Yeah. You had DJs do that. Yeah. You had DJs do that. They were actually my brother. They used to handcuff him, and he used to DJ like that.
I think that's a lost art. I don't see none of the youngsters doing that, man.
No, guys that used to also do that behind their back and stuff like that, like Kid Capri, and who's half black and half Italian. Kid Capri, guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Scott LaRock used to also do the little tricky. All the DJs really, they came to a time where they would want to show off.
They would put on a show. Like the DJ would instead of pump his fist. Nowadays they just pump their fist. Them dudes would put on a show. Yeah.
Yeah. William Felandito. Today he wanted to do something with me. Felandito from Santo Domingo wanted to do some merengue house with me and stuff like that. When I first started to work with it, introduce it. And I was hanging out a lot over there in Manhattan by St. Nicholas up there. And we had a place up there, Audubon in that area over there, a record store. And on top of the record store was a studio. And we was working on a lot of stuff, man. A lot of Dominican backers, you know what I'm saying? And Prami Records. Their name was Prami Records. And we were starting to do that. They were very interested. Very interested. I was taking the house and putting the merengue. There you go. Man, yo, the merengue house is popping. I was starting to do a lot of stuff with that.
And Celo, not to like interrupt you, but going back to like modern hip hop, you don't hear no merengue or no pungas or no timbales.
No, you don't hear percussion. Yeah.
All you hear is computer beats, man. Just computer beats. And that's all fine and good. But remember, back in the day, like I've seen hip hop groups with a live band with them on stage. Yeah. They have the DJ and the live band and
a lot of back then, the way hip hop started, a lot of times with the DJ, you did have a band. You had a bass player.
You'd have a bass player. You'd have a rhythm section.
Yeah, and the percussionist.
You'd have a guitar player.
That's when the show was, you could pay the musicians. We didn't get paid that much. I probably got
for a show, like $25 a night, man.
$50, that was good.
Hey, look.
For the recording I did for the Funky 4 plus one more, I got $250 for an hour.
Wow, studio time.
We went into 20th Century Studio, recorded it for 1 hour, $250. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
musician, that's a great gig, studio musician.
Yeah.
Great gig.
Like I said, as far as this conversation is concerned, no one can claim, bro. No Puerto Rican on their own, blacks. Nobody can claim hip hop.
No
like
East
that.
Coast. No. Well, okay.
No. I wouldn't even say what. Cause West Coast had a different with Dr. Dre. They had a different feel when they got into hip-hop.
A whole different groove, man. They was on their own tip.
Oakland. That's a whole different. They took those 1970 fly shit, like
like
Curtis
that, like
Mayfield. The fly stuff,
the 1970s soul music.
Bro. They took that to another level. Then the South, they took that to another level, bro.
And you could even go like, okay,
the Pre and T.I. and them. They took that South or like what's his name? Oh man, what's his name, bro? Man, Scarface and them guys.
Ooh,
they took that South they took that to another level. You got to give them credit for that. You got to give them credit. They took that to another freaking level, man.
That's why I say
kind of coming in, and then the stuff from Mississippi, from New Orleans, with
Memphis, Tennessee, North Carolina.
With the Millionaire Boys and stuff like that. You know, Baby and them. Yo, that's a whole different wave. A whole different way. They added on to hip hop, but the core, the beginning of it, you know what I'm saying?
That's the Bronx. That's the Bronx. The Bronx is the birthplace, man.
It's the birthplace of what we know of hip hop. But then the Southerners birthed their expression of hip hop. The West Coast, they birthed their expression of hip hop. It just started. You know what I'm saying?
That's
because
what's
of the radio
man.
stations. And that's because of the radio station when they started taking it and what they call the FCC. When they started spreading the distribution, the radio station also have a distribution, like a parent station. And when
Clear Channel,
Clear Channel, when Clear Channel, Fox Communication, Clear Channel took a hold of it to the radio station, and they started, what they call syndicating it, bro. It took on a different vibe, man.
And see, this goes back to what we were talking about before, where every culture puts their spin into hip hop. So if you're living, down in like Texas, your life is in New York, in the Bronx, but you can express yourself in that kind of vibe, and it's like rock and roll. They invented rock and roll, and then everybody had a rock band because you could express yourself. It was a way.
Charlie Brillante Su Gambino. William said he used to manage Charlie Brillante Su Gambino. Interesting. I would like to hear some of that stuff, William. Look it up.
No, if you listen to, like, I don't know, Silos, if you ever heard Mexican hip hop, like narco hip hop.
No.
Oh yeah, man. You got to check it out. Good stuff.
I know. Wow. I know Mexican music very well.
I'll send it to you, man. I'll send you some stuff. I got you on the.
In the South music, man. Yeah. I know Brazilians got a hip hop over there, slamming too. The Brazilian stuff and the Portuguese. And Africa too. Africa got some really. They're doing a whole drill. They're doing a whole drill thing in Africa. I think in Nigeria, they got a whole explosion of drill music.
And you know what? That's people that are taking, something that they appreciate and love and adding to it.
Right.
I hate when people say, "Oh, well, our band was the first band to play that kind of music." I'm like, no, you weren't.
No. Because the creation is taking something already in existence and just making it your own.
Putting your own,
to it. That's what creation is about. But William says something interesting. Computer people, if you go to the big concerts today of hip hop, they got live bands. You got a percussionist in the back. Like you go to Jay-Z concert, he's gonna bring in a drummer, he's gonna bring a bass player and all that, and he's gonna have a DJ up there also. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the hip hop today of the magnitude of concert. You know what I'm saying? And of course the money and again the money and the magnitude. But a lot of hip hop artists, you can just look at a lot of these award shows and whatever, and they throw a lot of hip hop. You do see some musicians up there. You do see that. You know what I'm saying? And that comes with P. Diddy started doing that, Kanye West,
Jay-Z was
bigger guys. Right, the bigger guys started doing that. Even Lamar, Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick
with a band behind him. Yeah. But I mean, it's easier to just use a DJ. And for instance, I had a DJ, I forgot his name, Premier, somebody with Fabulous. I backed up Fabulous, and I was a percussionist with a DJ. And a lot of the clubs too, I did that. I was a percussionist with a lot of DJs, renowned DJs would spin, and I would do the percussion. So, I mean, you do have some of that.
So, CeeLo, they would bring you in for the night and like pay your fee, and you would just groove out?
Yeah.
That's nice, man.
At a club. In clubs.
Yeah,
put me on the bill.
A couple guys that were
featuring Silos Conga, and they'll put me on the bill, and I'm doing percussion with this DJ, and boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
I knew a couple guys that what they did was they were studio musicians.
Mm-hmm.
and they made a good living.
Oh yeah. I did that for a while too. I did a lot of studio stuff with Steve Jordan.
And
but let me tell you something. That whole thing about people say, "Oh, that's out of Miami," percussion with a DJ. No, we were doing that way back in the Bronx. In the Bronx,
people gotta understand.
I guess we didn't market it the way they marketed it.
Well, CeeLo, you guys were young kids when you did that.
Yeah.
And the music business is filled with sharks. So if you're a young kid trying to swim with sharks, you're not going to do so good.
Especially when you start learning about mechanical licensing, publishing. See, I got my own publishing company and I'm a songwriter. I got BMI. I'm signed with BMI on that.
Yeah,
but when you start talking like, well, okay, I'll write this song, I'll record it, I'll write it, but I want this amount of point. You got to sign this. The guy needs this amount of point. And I need to submit this to BMI because if this stuff takes off and it's played on the radio, whatever,
I got to get paid.
I got to get paid. If Fox agency collects that money or whatever agency is collecting that money, I got to get paid. You know what I'm saying? It's cents on the dollars, but hey, that'll add up. Let's say you got a hit and this shit does like $3 million, something like that. You know what I'm saying? $3 million. If you're getting what? 54 cents, do the math. How much you think you want? $5,400, something like that. I don't know. $50,000. Hey, I met what's that brother? That Kanye West, as a matter of fact. He used to sing with Tower of Power. What was his name? Damn.
I know Tower of Power, but I don't know.
Tower of Power, the singer, Lenny something. Damn, my brain. I'm gonna have to get the wax out of my ear. So I did we opened up and we did a concert together with them with the Bar-Kays. The Bar-Kays, the ones that used to be the backup for James Brown, they became their Bar-Kays.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I started playing with Tony Wynn and so he was there. Lenny something. God damn it. If anybody know, so Kanye West, he sampled his voice like it's a famous slow song that he sings, and so Kanye West he sampled that. So I'm talking to Lenny in the backstage, and then I tell him, bro, how do you feel that Kanye West sample your shit, sample your stuff? And he said, oh, beautiful, because I go to my mailbox and I receive a check for $54,000. Lenny Williams, Daryl got it.
Good
Lenny Williams, bro. So he tells me I got a check for $54,000. I said, really? And he said, yeah. But here's the thing, he tells me, CeeLo, the next couple of months, I got another check for 54 because that shit became huge just from the sampling. He owned the rights to that sample.
Wow.
I think it was his because he used to sing with Tower Power. I remember then he went to jail. And then when he came out,
listen, we all make mistakes.
Lenny Williams, bro. Oh, what a nice dude, bro. We had a good time. It was in the amphitheater. The Amper stage at Orlando, Florida.
Oh, outside? You were outside?
You were outside.
Oh.
And the
I gotta say, man,
Bar-Kays was slamming, bro.
The Hollywood Bowl must have been great to play. Legendary.
Man,
CeeLo, I was gonna tell you that they used to have, like back in the day, like church Easter services there.
Oh yeah, wow.
It was a natural stage.
Yeah. All I know is backstage. When you go to the dressing rooms and stuff, those pictures are. They got the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, everybody that performed there. It's just like
Jim Morrison.
Amazing pictures. But you can't take those pictures because they
bulked out
to the wall.
They know musicians are greasy.
Bulked down to the walls. Those pictures are worth a lot of money. So Jimi Hendrix played on that stage. The Beatles. Let me tell you something.
Jim Morrison, Frank Zappa.
What's so special?
You gotta hear the world, like they had orchestras, the biggest band.
Leonard Bernstein. Bernstein did a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, man.
But let me tell you something about. I played at the Hollywood Bowl, right, with Sheila E., Robin Thicke, KJ Amulo. With KJ Amulo.
Playboy Jazz Festival, baby.
The Playboy Jazz Festival.
Bill Cosby
was the host at that time. But let me tell you something.
And what's his name? Hugh Hefner sat in the front.
Well, he wasn't there that day.
Roids around him.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, left. Yeah, he wasn't there when we played. So yeah. Who Hugh Hefner? Yeah. So this is the thing, is so when the band is playing, there's a band playing in the backstage, right on that stage. You setting up. Nobody can hear nothing, but you're setting
Stage
up.
turns.
Right, and you got the engineer, another engineer, fixing your mics and everything, setting you up. All of a sudden, when that shit, they tell you, okay, we're ready, wait, ready, showtime. When that shit go, ooh, oh, hold up.
Yeah, but what CeeLo's saying is, when that stage turns, all of a sudden, pow! There's a big crowd in front of your face.
Yeah, so
bunch of people.
My grandson. so check this out. So all of a sudden, so we all set up, and I'm like, what's happening here, bro? They still playing. That shit go, and the stage starts moving. And they said, go ahead and play. And the stage is, I got a clip of that. I should play that clip. Matter of fact, I will find that clip.
You got to put that on your channel, man. That's amazing.
I am going, because I'm going to find that clip right now, y'all.
Hey, did you ever?
Did
you ever? That when you played that show, like you didn't, because I know a lot of times, like we used to open up for like a lot of big acts, and we weren't allowed anywhere near them. Right. They would keep us, you know.
Oh yeah, that happened with me with what's the name of that group? Damn. Oh man, I'm telling you, my mind. Oh my
you weren't even allowed to like
Tears for Fears. Tears for Fears.
Love Tears for Fears.
I love them and everything, but backstage you cannot approach them whatsoever.
Dude, it's just all
not even musicians, bro. Not even some celebrities.
all I wanted to do was thank the bands for allowing me to grace their stage. But nope, can't talk to them.
Yep, not even celebrities, bro. I'm telling you, they were like, I don't know. I found it kind of strange.
Well, they were like huge in the 80s, man, but you know, it's not the 80s no more.
I'm looking for my performance. I got a whole little channel.
Now, CeeLo, do you remember what year you played the Playboy Jazz Festival?
I'm trying to think. I know 2012. I believe it was on 2012. I know I did the All-Star game at the Staples Center in there.
Oh, the basketball game?
Yeah. I can't remember. Oh, yeah, I got it right here. What year was that? I think it's 2000. Could have. Here we go. I'm gonna play it for y'all. Like, oh, wait a minute. I see what I gotta do. Okay, I gotta play it on another channel, but I'll get it. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna play you this. This is for KG Amulo. Watch the stage going around. Amulo. This is for KG Amulo. Look at that stage. Look at that. I got turns around.
Yo, look at that horn section.
Oh man, that's that horn section slamming.
Oh,
look at me. That's me in the background. See me?
Ah, there he is.
Yeah, you can hear everything. There you go.
Oh, look at that setup, man.
Drums.
Who's that guitar player? I like his shirt. Oh, CeeLo, that's a nice setup you got there.
Oh yeah, that's Sheila E setup. She lent it to me for that day. Sheila E.
Damn, that's a nice setup.
That's an artist from Kenya.
You know, I was watching something the other day.
Look at that, Playboy Jazz Fest. That's in 2012. Baby. Yeah, 2012, June 17th.
2012, okay.
2012.
Look at that, CeeLo, you rocking out, baby.
Yeah, I was taking it easy, giving them a little what they needed.
You weren't singing backups, were you? You weren't singing backups, were you?
No.
Look at that horn section, man.
He really had nobody singing backup. That's a nice album. When you hear it, I'll send you the link, but that's a really nice album.
I'm digging that horn section. I want to hear them.
Oh, the horn section is slamming.
Look at them dudes. Oh, look at this guy. I love that hat. What's that? The pork pie?
Yeah. That horn section is slamming.
I could tell.
I play
Just look at the way
timbales,
they
yeah.
dress. Oh, the Playboy thing.
Yeah, Playboy. 2 big monitors on the side. That's me.
You know, I remember, like, when I was there, I remember I saw a Boz Scaggs.
Yeah. Boss
And-
guys. Oh, wow.
That was a great set, man.
Yeah.
And
I don't
when I-
have the footage from for Thick Alan or Sheila E. I should have the footage, but I don't have those footage. I just got these. They sent to me.
I know that stage, man. I've seen that before.
That stage is phenomenal, bro.
You know what's funny is a lot of Hollywood celebrities have their own seats.
Yeah. That's
Look at this guy
me.
dancing. Come on, man. He's having a great time up there.
Yeah.
See, that's a showman. You got to be a showman, CeeLo.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ah, yeah, right there. Yeah. So yeah,
Man, it
that
ain't
was,
always about technique. It's about a good show.
yeah, you have to be willing to do a good show. Yeah. So that was me and at that time. But
Now,
listen,
let me ask
I'm
you a
gonna
question.
yeah, go ahead.
real fast, because I remember when I used to play, I would get them like butterflies. Did you get them butterflies when that thing was turning?
No, at first it hits you like, whoa, what's happening here? But I love the stage. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell
I'm
you.
very comfortable on the stage because since I've been 9 years old, I'm very comfortable with the stage. As a matter of fact, sometimes I hold back because sometimes I don't want to. I think that if I
Outshine, you don't want to outshine nobody.
anybody, yeah. But I've done it before. Like I have come out and people had just
Yeah, but then the singer
women
gets
were like,
mad,
but then the
manager
singer look
gets
at you
mad.
like, what the hell? You get that type of reception and stuff like that. But I'm beginning now to balance that. So, I want the whole band to with me and we're gonna
Just shine, baby.
shine. I'm gonna do it like that.
Just
I don't want to outshine nobody. I want to do my part. But
when I was a youngster, I wanted to be the rock star guitar player, and I was. And then I realized that that's not what I really wanted. I really wanted to serve the band and make the band better. It's not about me. It's
Right.
about the music.
That's the way I am. I want to, and not only the music, I think it's but the audience. You know what I'm saying? I got to a
You have
point
to
where,
engage
right,
the
I
audience.
got to a point that music, the word muse, like amusement, amusement park, museum, is for pleasure, right?
A muse that you look up to help you
Muse,
create.
Exactly. So it's all about pleasure. So I want everybody to either it depends on the song and the content. If it's to make you think, but at the same time to make you think about anything, but offer resolution, offer a balancement. I just want if it's a message music, but if it's just music at all, it's feeling good. You know what I'm saying? It's pleasurable.
And that's the key. That's our job, man.
Exactly.
That is our job.
Make
We
people
are
feel
there
good.
to make you forget about your fucking troubles,
Yeah.
to forget about and just groove out for a couple
man.
hours.
Let it go, and just for that,
we'll take
for
that
that
burden
hour,
for you.
for that hour, a couple of hours, it's like you're
Like,
want to be
we
able
will
to take
take-
you somewhere. Yeah.
Like, we'll take your burden and we'll take you on a journey, and then maybe you'll feel a little better when you leave.
Oh, right. When you
You
leave,
know?
you're gonna feel better. You're able now to refresh mind. Like my sons go to some concerts and stuff, and he comes back with a full refreshed mind. I used to do that when I went to see somebody, and if it's very inspiring, like somebody like Stevie Wonder, or somebody inspiring, I'm like, this made me feel good.
You know
You know
it's
what
like,
I watch? You know what I watch a lot? NPR station.
Did you ever see NPR Tiny Desk?
That's what I watch a lot.
Yeah.
And I just recently watched Scott Adua, Atunde Dua, and that jazz group that he had.
Ooh, I love that jazz.
It was like musical orgasm to me. Musical orgasm.
Wu-Tang was on Tiny Desk one time.
I haven't seen that one. I'm gonna look for that one.
You know,
my cousin, my primo, Marcus Machado was on there with his band. You gotta check his.
Right on. Did you ever see? This might be a little too country music for you, but they have Austin City Limits.
Oh yeah, Austin City Limits. I used to watch it back in the day. I saw this guy on guitar, Stevie Ray Vaughan on that.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was going to bring it up. That's the most amazing.
Yeah, Austin City Limit is another one. Yeah, well, Austin, Texas. There is another music. You know,
they have a festival.
Like Nashville.
They have a festival, South by Southwest, and every kind of band.
I'm gonna find. I wonder Rico should have the footage. I did a festival in Virginia. Oh man, a huge festival, huge. I mean, a lot of people, and also we got footage of Paris, France. That's like 30,000 people. That was in front of.
You got like my buddy. He did he was a roadie for a band, but he traveled the world. He tells me his favorite. He goes, my favorite place in the world is Amsterdam. It's so beautiful. It just, the living on the, but he said like, France was amazing. And he got to meet, like he said, he was sitting there and he was eating some catering. He was eating tortellini and he hears an English accent saying, how's the tortellini? He goes, oh, it's real good. And he turns around. It was Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin.
Ooh, wow. And another place, believe it or not, Germany. Germany has a big music festival and music experiences.
They have Germany. Not only do they have they have like heavy metal music festivals there. They have
salsa festival in Germany also. Salsa festival in Germany.
Really?
Yeah, salsa festival. I played in France for salsa festival.
I used to work.
Well, listen, I'm going to end this stream, but I want to play something. This is an announcement. This is something that my good brother, I'm going to get on his page, and we're going to do this. I think on Fridays. On Fridays, we're going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to play it, and after that, I just briefly, I would, wish everybody well. Check it out.
Thank you, Silos. One love. Thank you for having me.
You got it, my man. You got it. Hold up. I think that you might not even hear the sound, right? Nope. Okay. Let me go back. I'm sorry about that, folks. Let me share my screen again. Share the screen. Share the screen. I got to do this. Share the audio. Okay. Got to do this, do that, that. Okay, guys? Okay.
We were so crazy. My mom being angry like.
Oh, hold on. Let me go back here.
God damn, that DJ made my day. DJ Intense. God damn, that DJ made my day. DJ Intense. God damn, that DJ made my day. DJ Intense. Yo. I remember my best friend told me that you be partner for the old days. Really? My bad. I'm sorry, man. I'm so silly. I just keep thinking about my homeboy, Willie. When we little kids on the block, we were so crazy. My mom being angry like she was some old lady. Cause I was running around like I was Bronco Billy. When my man Illy Babbitt, we was touching titties and smoking Phillies. We thought we were big willies on big wheels doing willies. With them ladies being all touchy-feely. It was like the late 80s. Throwing bottles and light M80s. It was crazy hanging with crack babies. My grandma parent, I would come home safely, get the land, my family didn't want to rake it. I'm just saying, my stepdad, the alcoholic man, I never saw it coming. He would work like a hornet till like the early morning. Looking back on the things I should have done with my life, but it's alright, cause I'm still alive. Looking back on the things I should have said, but I did not, I would not, I could not, it was too hot. Looking back on the things I should have done with my life, but it's alright, cause I'm still alive. Looking back on the things I should have said, but I did not, I would not, but I could not. I'll be always pondering for the old days. Hear me now? Listen to Marvin Gaye in the old days. Hear me now, hanging on the projects with the old ladies, looking out that window pane, filled with ladies' pain, cause she's looking out for her grandchild on the streets. Buck wild, get your ass back in the house when you got the beat down. Catch your ass whip and get some love. It was game time. Only Nana and Maka to do things at the same time. Not really looking back. I'm too busy looking down. It's like I left New York. Some queens are not around now. I'm still alive and I no longer wonder how. So I was in the house running from nightgowns and the pow-pows. I miss them both doing strokes running around town. I'm a grown man and I made it and I stuck around. Mow that lawn, that mow is in the outhouse. Man, I could use a great ass whipping right about now. Looking back on the things I should have done with my life, but it's alright, cause I'm still alive. Looking back on the things I should have said, but I did not, I would not, I could not, it was too hot. Looking back on the things I should have done with my life, but it's alright, cause I'm still alive. Looking back on the things I should have said, but I did not, I would not, but I could not, it was too hot. Don't make me put my business in the streets over a beat when me and Eve was sneaking over the 2 to 3 between the sheets. More than twice a week, a slogan was like, try to be me and Louie. Then I met Screwy, and then I met Georgie, and then I met my kissing Cindy. We was being silly, laughing over Ghost Tiger and Henny. There's plenty of shorties to go around, homie. That summer was on one and only, reminiscing for a moment. Cause now I'm over 40, don't know where the time is going. Yesterday I was just 20, having fun and performing. Going to Brooklyn, trying to get my demo recorded. Feeling so annoyed cause we couldn't really afford it. Now I'm older and my songs is all over. And now I'm all over the place, and old days is all over. With a pot belly, I rock rhymes like Akinelli, hoping Machiavelli. B.I.G. is looking down. DJ Intense. Goddamn, that DJ made my day. DJ Intense. Goddamn, that DJ made my day.
Check us out.
Intense.
Check us out on Latin Pains channel.
That DJ made
I
my
would
day.
put it on
DJ Intense.
my page. It's gonna be on Fridays about I think 10 p.m. Fridays.
Goddamn, that DJ made my day. DJ Intense. Goddamn, that DJ made my day. DJ Intense. Goddamn, that DJ made my day. DJ Intense. Yo. I remember my best friend told me that you be partner for the old days. Really? My bad. I'm sorry, man. I'm so silly. I just keep thinking about my homeboy Willie. When we little kids on the block, we was so crazy. My mom being angry like she was some old lady. Cause I was running around like I was Bronco Billy. When my man Illy Babbitt, we was touching titties and smoking Phillies. We thought we were big willies on big wheels doing willies. With them ladies being all touchy-feely. It was like the late 80s, throwing bottles and light M80s. It was crazy hanging with crack babies. My grandma parent, I would come home safely, get the lamb, my family did when we rake it. I'm just saying, my stepdad, that alcoholic man, I never saw.
All right, so I'm gonna get out of here, y'all, and just look out for. I'm gonna let you know with Latin Pain. We're gonna do the whole hip hop thing with Latin Pain's channel. So I will put it on my page. So look out for that. Also, I'll see if I can screen it, with him, or if not, just stream it on his page. But I'll probably put it on later on my page, as far as the whole conversations and the whole show. But look out for the shows on Fridays. I guess it's gonna be 10 p.m. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we're gonna do around 10 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. Well, peace. All right. All in blessings. Peace.